What if I told you whenever you upload an image to your Shopify store, you're losing money? And it's not just a little, we're talking lost sales every single day and you don't even know it's happening. Here's the thing. Most merchants upload their product images the exact same way. They drag, they drop, and they think it's done. And Shopify accepts it and gives you no warnings or errors, nothing. But what it doesn't tell you is that the image you just uploaded is silently killing your page speed. And here's why speed matters. Every second your store takes to load, you lose customers. And the traffic you paid for, the ads you ran, the SEO you built up, most of it walks away before your product even loads. Slow pages don't just frustrate your visitors, they're actually burning your marketing budget. Now, I've worked on hundreds of Shopify stores, and this is the number one speed killer I see. Not apps, not your themes, but your images. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening behind the scenes when you upload an image to Shopify, why it's costing you sales, and how to fix every image that you have on your store without paying for an app. So let me show you what I mean. Here I have a report from an optimized page with proper images and everything done properly. This is the score. Take special note of the LCP, which is how long the page takes to load the image. Now, I'm going to upload a product image the way most people do, straight from the supplier or straight from your camera roll. No editing, no resizing, just drag it in. And the image I just uploaded, it's 3,456 pixels wide and 3 megabytes. That's a normal product photo, nothing unusual. Now, watch what happens to the page load time. Do you see that? The page just went from loading in around 2.3 seconds to 16 seconds. One image, one upload, and that's what happened. And this is more common than you think with an unoptimized theme. And here's what's actually happening. You uploaded a, let's say, 4,000 pixel image, and your customer's phone screen is maybe 400 pixels wide. But the browser is still downloading every one of those extra pixels before the page can finish loading. That's what's making it slow. All those extra pixels they'll never even see. Now multiply that across your entire product catalog. 50 products, 4 images each. That's 200 images all loading at a size they don't need to be. So your store isn't slow because of some mystery. It's because it's downloading megabytes of image data that could be kilobytes of image data. And you might be thinking like, so what? Here's the problem. Google has published data on this. A page that takes 3 seconds to load has a 32% higher bounce rate than one that loads in 1 second. At 5 seconds, that spikes up to 90%. That's not a speed problem, that's a money problem. So your images aren't just heavy, they're actually expensive for you. But here's what gets me, right? Most merchants I talk to, they think they're covered because Shopify handles everything. So let me show you exactly what Shopify does do and doesn't do with your images, because that's a gap most people actually don't even know about. So Shopify markets itself as an all-in-one platform, and for most things it actually is pretty good. Now when it comes to images, there are things it does so well and things it kind of leaves up to you. Here's what Shopify actually does. So it converts your images to WebP, which is a format that is similar to JPEG or PNG, but smaller, so that's much better. And it generates different sizes of your image as long as your theme is requesting those different sizes. And it strips out all the metadata, camera settings, GPS coordinates and stuff. And it also compresses your images, which is all very good. But what is it missing? What's the gap? And the answer is dimensions. So Shopify doesn't actually resize your original image by itself. If you upload a 4,000 pixel wide photo, Shopify stores that 4,000 pixel file. It creates smaller versions, sure, but the size of those versions depends entirely on what your theme is asking it. And most themes, they actually are asking for way more than they actually need. Your product card on mobile might be like 400 pixels wide, but your theme is asking for a 1,500 pixel image for it. Shopify also doesn't know what your theme is actually displaying. It just trusts your theme. Your theme trusts your upload as well. So if you upload a size that's massive, every single product that's using that image is going to be using that massive image, right? And no amount of compression, no matter how good, can save you from serving like a 1,500 pixel image instead of a 400 pixel one that's being shown to the customer. So Shopify handles the file, you handle the dimensions, and that's the part most people miss. Okay, so now you know the problem. Your images are too big, your theme is probably pulling versions that are way oversized, and it's costing you sales. Now, some themes actually handle this pretty well, and yours might be one of the good ones, or it might be silently bleeding conversion. There's a few ways to check if it's good, and the first is to audit the code. That's something I do for merchants all the time. I go through their code and I pinpoint exactly where the speed is leaking and tell them like what to fix and stuff. So if you'd rather skip the guesswork, I'll leave a link to that in the description to set up a free audit. But if you want to DIY this, then you're going to have to get your hands a little dirty by looking at some code. So what you got to do is go into your themes page, then click on edit code. Now for every image, you actually need to take a look at the image tag and make sure it looks like this. And this basically tells the browser to serve the images properly. Now, if your theme instead uses image tags that look like this, then you gotta follow along the next steps so your images are always perfect and it won't really matter if it uses any of these, if you follow these processes. So here's the right way to upload images, the entire process, and it takes about 30 seconds per image. And once you get the hang of it, it can impact your page speed pretty significantly. We're talking like 30 to 40 page speed going to about 80, which is really good. And obviously it doesn't require any apps, like I said. Step one is you got to resize before you upload the image. And this is so that your Shopify theme doesn't use the massive image that it doesn't need to. Most themes, they display product images around 800 to 1200 pixels wide. So before you upload anything, just resize it to around 2048 max, right? You can go smaller if you like. And that gives you like enough room for zoom functionality without the bloat. And Shopify actually recommends this officially on their blog. I use Squoosh for individual images, and for bulk image resizing, you got tools like BRME, which is bulk image resize something. And then there's a preview app on Mac, which can also resize. And step two, after you resize it, you gotta compress it. And Squoosh is really good for this. All you gotta do is set it to WebP or JPEG at around 80% quality. For most product photos, you won't see any difference between 100% and 80%, but the file size, it drops down dramatically. We're talking from megabytes to kilobytes, right? And it's the same image, same quality, but you're getting a fraction of the weight. So that's step two. Now step three is like an optional step where you should rename your files properly. Like for example, a lot of the time you get these images that look like img_4392.jpg from the supplier or from your camera roll. What you want to do is rename that. So for example, you get img, like I said, file 392. You can rename it to something like black leather wallet and then front.webp. And Shopify will use that file name and actually add it to the default alt text. So you don't have to put an alt text for any of your images after that. And so that helps your SEO and accessibility with zero extra effort. And it helps keep things organized as well. And step four is actually uploading everything. And this time it's going to be fine because you upload an image that's the right size, the right format, and it's properly compressed already. So Shopify's built-in optimizations will kind of stack on top of that and help you do most of the work. So to summarize, 30 seconds of prep time will save your customers 3 seconds of waiting for the product page to load. And that's the trade-off. You should take that every single time because it's going to make you more money. Now that's for new images going forward, but what about the 200 images you have already sitting on your store right now? You're not going to manually re-upload all of those. So here's what to do instead. This is the part most tutorials they skip. They tell you how to optimize new images, but leave you stuck with a store full of bloated images, and we're gonna fix that now. So you have two options here. And the first one is obviously you can do this manually. You can go into your Shopify admin, into the products, open the products, and then re-upload optimized images for those products. And this is realistic if you have under 30 products, not many images to go with them. You can download the originals and batch resize them and then compress them. Yes, it might take a little bit of time, like an afternoon, but the speed improvement is permanent and you got to see it as an investment of your time. But of course, there's also another option, which is using a free image optimization app. And there are apps on the App Store like Crush.pix or TinyImg or TinyImage that have free tiers. They'll go through your existing images and compress them in place. So for most stores, the free tier is going to be enough to handle your entire catalog. All you got to do is install it, run the optimization, and check that your images still look good. Make sure you check and you are done. Either way, once your images are optimized, go check your page speed score. I guarantee you'll see a jump. For most stores I work on, images alone account for like 40 to 60% of the page weight. So fixing them is the single highest impact thing you can do for your store's speed. You don't need a developer, you don't need a paid app, you just need to stop uploading images the way Shopify lets you get away with. Quick ask before we wrap up. What I just showed you is like the 80-20, the stuff that takes most stores from slow to fast without overthinking it. But there's a deeper layer to image optimization, and I didn't touch that here. So there's things like responsive image tags, source sets, AVIF format, lazy loading, how to treat your hero image differently from your product grid. If you want me to make a full deep dive on all of that, drop a comment below and let me know. And if enough of you want that, then I will film that next. So now your images are all sorted, but here's the thing. Even perfectly optimized images can load slowly if your theme isn't using them correctly. A lot of Shopify themes, they don't use the right image tags, which means your theme might be loading full-size images where it should be loading smaller ones. All that work you just did is, your theme can just undo that. And that's actually something I help merchants with all the time. Auditing themes and fixing exactly these kinds of issues. So if you want a set of expert eyes on your store, the link is in the description. But images aren't the only thing that's slowing your store down. There are mistakes most merchants make with their themes and apps that are just as bad and just as invisible as well. I made a full video breaking down every one of them, so you can watch that next. If you like, a link should be on the screen somewhere. Thanks for watching.